Hello, hello, good evening. And with the first overall pick in the 2024 HBCU draft, Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier, Bryan Fulford. What up, fellas? How y'all
Man,
doing
you just
tonight?
reminded me.
That's right. Better get your TVs queued up. Get your TVs queued up.
It's right there too.
Marcus trying to slide away. Go ahead, slide away real quick and get your TVs.
I can look to the side real quick. I just got to turn it on.
All right. Well, welcome to a live episode of the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan, Marcus, Kelvin, good to be here with you on another Wednesday night. The NBA draft is happening tonight, just in case you wondered, and maybe you're paying attention somewhere on another TV. I know I am, but it's good to be on with you tonight. Kelvin, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm glad to be here and chop it up with the brothers, and I'm glad that football season is coming. I'm glad that the B turn has started, man. But I'm confused too, man.
What's got you confused?
Hey, man, we gonna get into it, man. But boy, I'm telling you, Rattlers, we bipolar as hell.
Yeah, it's something special with us, boy. Something special. I don't know if it's the being on the highest of seven hills or if it's the water or whatever, man. I tell you, we are something else. 59 days until the football season starts. So we are under 60 days, under 2 months from the start of the season. Of course, MEAC SWAC Challenge, FAMU versus Norfolk State, week 0, taking place in Atlanta, Georgia. Are you ready? Are you ready? Marcus, how you feeling tonight? Are you ready?
For the draft or for or for the MEAC SWAC Challenge?
Okay, Marcus, who with the #1 overall pick, who will your Atlanta Hawks take tonight?
Who you want them to take? That's the question.
Who do you want them to take?
See, to be honest, I've been so far out the loop, I don't even know. I just hope it's somebody good and somebody that was productive. But I mean, at one point I was like a huge college basketball fan, following everything. But now I don't even know who the players are. I don't. I'm just like,
the question is, will they? Okay, this is what I can tell you. Will it be a Frenchman? There are two French.
Yes, the 7-footer.
The two top guys. Who's that? Alex Sarr, and I forgot the other guy's name. I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name. There's the one guy is a 7-footer. The other guy's like 6'9". And then could the outlier be a college player? I've heard everything from the guy from UConn, the big Clinton, whatever his name is. I even put a little pizza money down on Reed Shepherd, just as a dart throw. The freshman from Kentucky. So who knows? We will find out shortly. They're on the clock. I would love it if they traded the pick, to be honest, while we're talking about it. I would.
It may happen after they make it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. After they select somebody, will they trade the pick? Because there's a couple teams in the top 14 that have 2 picks. If I'm not mistaken. Here's a question. In our lifetime, do you ever think we will see an HBCU basketball player drafted #1 overall? How about just in the lottery? In our lifetime.
It would have to. Well, I don't say it have to. My guess, if it's somebody who dropped down. And not somebody who just dropped down, like a top player who dropped down and said, you know what, I want to play for HBCU.
Thank you, Hollow. keep it simple.
Just keep it simple. Keep it real. No.
Hell no, he replied.
Hawks are clapping. The pick is in, so we'll see.
Yes, the pick is in. The Hawks, who've never, I don't think they've ever played. I can't remember okay, Marcus, you're a super fan. When's the last time the Hawks had a #1 pick? Do you even know?
I don't.
They only had it like one time, and I think L. Duncan been talking about it the whole time. They got David Thompson, and he went to the ABA instead.
Yeah, I knew it was way back in the day. I know the Dominic pick was early. I mean, the Dominic pick was in the top 10, but I don't remember.
Hey, L. Duncan did on Sports Center. She did say they were going to Magic City after the game. I was like, no, she didn't. Right on Sports Center. Said, well, we know where they're going after. They're going to Magic City. I'm like, good Lord.
Oh.
Hello to everybody watching us, wherever and however you're watching. You might be watching us on YouTube.
Hit it.
Huh?
Hit your wire.
Oh.
There you go. You good now.
Doing that again. All right. You may be watching us on the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube channel. We say hello. Or you could be on our O&G StrikeZone YouTube page. Maybe you're watching us on X or Facebook or even Instagram Live. We say hello to all of you, everybody in the chat room. I think I see Dr. Lori's in the house. So, if you're in the JBN space, be kind to one another today. This is, good to see she's here and ready to roll. So let's have fun, but let's be respectful. 59 days until the season. So we know we're all excited. We got a lot of things to talk about on tonight's show. Before we get into the juicy topic, that's the T, as the kids call it. And hour number 2, we've got running back, senior running back, and 2023 Celebration Bowl offensive MVP, Kelvin Dean, coming in. So we're going to talk about Kelvin, or talk with Kelvin.
Another Kelvin. I mean, this is a
Kelvin.
great night.
Hey, Kelvins are in the news.
Yes, sir.
That's all.
We make it happen.
Y'all in the news. Y'all stay in the news. And then we also got, while we're on that football theme, we're going to talk to our defensive coordinator, Coach Milton Patterson, in the bottom half of hour 2. Kind of find out what the Dark Cloud defense is going to do to outperform their success from a year ago, as Marcus eagerly awaits the selection. I'm eager to see who it's going to be. Please say Reed Shepard. Reed Shepard. If you said Reed Shepard and I get up and run around for a second.
No, it's Zachary.
Boo.
The other French guy.
Yeah, it's the guy who everyone was predicting to go first. Yeah. So, all right. So no surprises.
We got more wings than, I don't know.
Yeah.
You need a big. You need a real big.
Yeah, he's not a real big. That's so anyway, we'll see what he does. So congratulations, Hawks fans. You got a Frenchman coming to town, Zachary Reischer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Get out, boys, some lemon pepper wings.
No, we like them light-skinned curly hair players.
Yeah. lemon pepper wings on call. Get them ready. Okay, I want to send us some shout-outs. Let's do some shout-outs here early. We like to get the shout-outs in while we're in. Hey, you can support the show first off by hitting the thumbs up and the like button, or make a donation to the show right there using the Cash App, right, you see on the screen. Right. Or you could use a Square donation right there, that QR code. If you're in the JBN chat, you could always drop a super chat. You could always just any and all is appreciated. It helps us possibly be able to do some road trips this upcoming football season. I know we want to try to do some shows and things of that nature. So any and all donations are appreciated. All right, let's run through the roll call of people. Jimmy Mack first up in the room. So we say, what up, Jimmy?
6'11". He was way early. I'm talking about Jimmy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the kid from Atlanta, or that went to Atlanta. He looks about 6'11", weighed about $125. But anyway, good to see you, Jimmy. Good to see you. Good to see you coming in. Corinthia Morgan checking in. Good to see you, Corinthian. Dr. Lori, of course, coming in early, getting y'all ready. B Starks, good to see you, B Starks. Thank you for being a subscriber to the JBN channel. Demetra Alford, good to see you, Demetra. Mary 305 checking in. Good to see you, Mary. Meredith coming in. Hello, Meredith. Marvin Allen checking in from Duval County. Good to see you, Marvin. Melissa Wilson checking in. Always. Marcus coming in from Middle Georgia. Checking in. Good to see you, Marcus. Jay Hunter comes in. Let me see. Has anybody peered into that? Yeah, we were talking about that right before we came on the air. That's when Kelvin said what he said at the beginning of the show. That's what he was
Bipolar.
talking about.
We
That's what he was
bipolar.
talking about. Yeah. That is us. Reggie Delane. Good to see you, Reggie. Thanks for coming in and checking in with us. Tamara T. Hello, another JBN subscriber. We thank you, Tamara, for coming in, being a subscriber. JT, what's good? How you doing, JT? Thanks for coming in as well. Tony, coming in. Good to see you, Tony. Band Talk, Theron. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hell Wildcats. I guess that's what they say, right? Chuck
Baton
Hunt.
Rouge.
Monroe. Good guess. Just a little bit to the north of Baton Rouge. Good to see you, Chuck. Thanks for coming in. Gail checking in all the way from Cleveland.
The land.
The land. Good to see you, Gail. Oh.
What up, Ken?
Ken got his account back. Good to see you, Ken. All right. Just messing. Everybody's favorite tiger. Everybody's favorite tiger then strolled in. Good to see you, Timona. This is safe space, Timona.
Hey, she'll disappear once the season starts.
Shots called. Shots called. Shots called. Shots fired. James Austin. Do we have a coach? Yes, James. Now, officially, I don't know, but we have a coach. So we'll talk about that here shortly. So good to see you. Thanks for checking in.
Volunteer coach.
Chris Dukes. Good to see you, Chris. Coming in.
Yeah,
All right. Let me see. Who else? As I scroll through, good to see the comments. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. We say hello. Hello. We see you. There you go.
Hello.
Tremaine Ellis. Come on now, Tremaine. Let's keep it nice. Sermon Jr. It must be an Atlanta Hawks fan. So we'll see. Let's see who else is in here. All right. There we go. You're young. Good to see you. We're checking in from the Carolina.
Kakalaki.
All right.
What's up, Coach?
I appreciate you, Timona. Thank you. Appreciate you coming in and supporting. I appreciate you. As Dr. Lori said, she don't play about them Rattlers, but you already know. Good to see you, Doc. Thank you again for all you do coming in. Alice McCullough checking in from Palm Beach. 561. Good to see you. Edwin Moore. All right, let me see. Waiting to take some family pictures. Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Edwin. Thank you for stopping in.
All right, Deke.
All right. Fan Talk. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support. Always appreciate it. Much love.
Appreciate it.
Much appreciated. Mr. Campbell checking in. Good to see you.
What's going on, Real?
Good to see you checking in. All righty. And I think we've got it covered. Dr. Strachan coming in. Kerry Daniels. Let me see. Anybody look like I missed? Jens P checking in. Coming in from X. Watching the show on X.
Plum Food.
Oh man, I don't have that ready. Coach Green coming in. You gotta, you know what, Kelvin? You gotta remind me like a day or two before the show. You always tell me on the day of the show after we get started. Keith, appreciate you, Keith. Remind everybody, get those thumbs up, hit the like button. Do me a favor, appreciate you. I think I got everybody. Anybody I missed? Woo! Tamara T, man, bless you. Thank you, Tamara T. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right. That's love. Appreciate you. Ashley C checking in.
What's up, Ash?
Fang Exchange. Hashtag Fang Exchange. Make sure to drop the Twitter handle in the chat room, Ashley. So that way people can make sure you're following. Looking forward to seeing what the Fang Exchange is going to be dropping here pretty soon and let us know what's going on. Okay. Well,
Dog.
did I miss Mike? I didn't see Mike. Was he in there? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Mike. Okay. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for checking in. Okay. Well, Coach Patrick Crary II, well, it's official. It was official. It still is official, according to FAMU Athletics and the contract that he signed as the 15th head men's basketball coach back on April 17th. I did see the contract. It was signed. Even Dr. Robinson signed it. Even the AD signed it. Yeah, so the contract is signed. Now, obviously, what took place earlier this week, in my opinion, and Kelvin, feel free to jump in and tell me if you think otherwise, was supposed to be the mere formality of the contract approval by our FAMU Board of Trustees, which is standard practice, right? The FAMU Board of Trustees reviews all contracts, athletic contracts of its head coaches. And I have not, in my recollection recently, I have not seen anything like what I saw on Monday. Have you seen anything relative to what we saw Monday, Kelvin, in your recollection?
What, a coach contract not being confirmed by trustees?
Yes.
Unfortunately, in the HBCU world, it's
No.
In the HBCU world, that's FAMU included.
It seems to be happening a lot.
It seems to happen.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. And I do agree with you that it should have been a formality, but there's a reason for it, though.
Yeah. So again, Coach Crary, again, when he was officially announced, we were actually on the show. We got beat on the breaking news by about 30 minutes or so, if I recall. But just some of the background on Coach. All right. I mean, Coach is a young guy in his 40s, early 40s. Comes from a program out of the South Florida area, and previously in the Washington D.C. area. Has had success on those two levels, and stepping towards Florida A&M, a Division I mid-major / low resource, however you want to look at it, is the next progression for somebody who has done what he's done in the past decade of his coaching career. Again, all of this was signed on April 17th. But what's curious and disappointing, and again, see, just to say that it happened. This happened on the 17th of April. I know, the 18th of April, excuse me. That was a Thursday.
Before donate gate.
Yes, that's important. Very important.
It is important.
Before donate gate, this contract happened. Okay, the contract happened, the signing, the coach coming in. And again, it should be noted, this took place right about a month after it was made known that the previous coach, Coach McCullum, would not be issued a new contract. So on March 20th, A.D. Sykes, the athletic department, issued a statement saying that Coach McCullum services and his contract would not be renewed. Essentially, his term would end, or time would end, on June 30th, that's when his contract ends, technically. Okay. But as of March 20th, that's when the search for a new coach would begin. Okay. So it was well known. And, the process, it took how long it took. Okay.
About a month.
Yeah, it took right about a month. Right about a month. Okay. Now,
Where it was going to take some time again, because we talked about how the budget works. So I
yes.
mean, you got to pay Coach McCullum, so the money wasn't on the line and would not be on the line.
And what's also interesting though, Kelvin, in terms of coach's staff. Now, Coach McCullum had 3 assistant coaches. Okay. And when I went to go look at the staff and website, I noticed that one particular assistant coach, stayed on staff and carried over from, one administration to the next. Okay. And so in the interim, when all that was happening, it was stated, and we talked about this at last week's show, it was stated that the Rattler boosters were going to come up with $20,000 to help cover some of Coach Crary's travel and operating personal expenses, because he wasn't going to get a contract or wasn't going to get paid from FAMU until technically July 1, that the boosters were going to put $20,000 up. Okay. So that was, in theory, supposed to happen. But we found out last week that hadn't happened. And you would think, Kelvin, well, let me not put words in anyone's mouth. I was of the thought going in to this meeting on Monday that might be talked about. But what ended up being talked about, I think, was the result of a news report, and a letter from a prominent parent of a basketball player on the team. And I think as a result of that letter, the Board of Trustees seemed to go into Monday's meeting with, as they might say, red flags, concerns, which to me, it just came out of left field. Okay, we'll get into all of that in just a second. But here I'm going to put together a little timeline of what we know. Okay. The timeline of events leading from March 20th, when Coach McCullum's contract was not renewed. Okay. On April 17th, we had a new coach that was announced. The 18th was the press conference. The contract was signed by the AD, General Counsel, and President Robinson. According to the letter by Reverend Julius McAllister, who is the parent of a player on the team from last season, it was stated in his letter that on April 27th, which was a Saturday, that the coach called players and that they would not be granted a roster spot. Okay. We'll talk about some particulars within that letter, which I don't think are accurate, but in the letter says that 16 players would not be retained, or I guess the word was dismissed. Okay. The next day, according to the letter, Reverend McAllister made the decision to let's see, as I said right there, he called the coach to ask about the decision. The coach stated that he would help every young man find a new school if they wanted to continue playing basketball. Okay. It should be noted that a month later, Coach Crary attended the National Alumni Association convention in Tampa. He was there. And I think I put that there because it's significant. I'm sure every trustee member was in attendance at the National Alumni Convention. Fair to say? Fair to say. They had a meeting. Okay. According to Reverend McAllister's letter, on June 3rd, he actually made a visit to the Lawson Center to have a meeting with Coach Crary. That meeting did not go as well as Reverend McAllister would have liked it to have gone. But, you know, if you've read the letter, we can talk about that in a second. 3 more weeks pass. And on Sunday, the 23rd, Reverend McAllister pens a letter to Dr. Robinson, Chair Harper, Trustee Lawson, Trustee Klatt, other members of the BOT. It's published in the Rattler Nation blog spot, which I think came out on Sunday. Actually, it came out on the weekend, really. Word of the letter got out, which was kind of interesting. Word about the letter kind of got out before the actual publish date, so I'm not really sure how that happened, but on semantics. I'm not going to play CSI detective here. And then, of course, leading into Monday, where at the end of some interesting discussion, the Board of Trustees decides to table the contract of Coach Crary and says they should be tabled until at least August. And again, June 24th was the first day of Summer B session. It was the first day for 7 new players to the FAMU basketball team, 3 returning players. So a total of 10 players began workouts on Monday and practices on Monday. The head basketball coach, who still hasn't received compensation that was promised by the boosters on the 20th, and as of right now, doesn't have an approved 3-year contract from the Board of Trustees. And that's where we sit on a Wednesday. Now, all right. Did I lay that out pretty well?
Yeah, that's pretty much facts, right? For the most part, yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, one other thing I would add, Brian, I don't know if you want to include it, but
Sure.
for men's basketball, the end of the transfer portal window was May 1st.
Correct.
And what I don't know, I know for football, they do it. I don't know if it's across all sports or basketball specifically, that when there's a change in coaches, there's like a 30-day window. That's an exception to the normal transfer window. So I don't know if that comes into play or if that clock started ticking for the 30 days when McCollum was not returned, when there was announced that he would not be returning, or if it was, I don't know when that clock starts. I don't know if that comes into play too.
I will add one more carrot also, and that is that if you're not going to renew a player on an athletic scholarship, that it has to be in writing. It has to be signed off by the sports administrator, I think, and it's in compliance, and it has to be filed. So there's a process to not renewing student athletes, even on a year-to-year basis. There are ways, there are exceptions, like if people don't go to class and some other, get in trouble. There are some ways where you can rescind that scholarship within a year, but typically the process is year to year. And if you're not going to renew, students do have some rights, and there's a process that has to happen. And typically that process doesn't involve a volunteer. Typically it's a person who's a paid coach or administrator.
Right. Now it's funny you mentioned about being something put in writing. My sources tell me that there is written communication to every individual who would not be returning to the team. Okay. Now we know how information gets out. I'm sure that will eventually show up. Question is, when and where, but it will most likely show up. Okay. Another thing that, and before we go to comments here regarding this, I think it's also important to understand something about the numbers. Okay. Because in doing a little investigation this morning, okay, there were 19 players on the 2023-24 FAMU basketball team, right? 13 scholarship, I believe 6 non-scholarship players. Okay. There were original, well, and it's kind of, and of course, as you saw in the summary, the statement that there were 16 players that weren't, or I guess 16 players that were dismissed, right? Technically, that's not accurate. There were 3 players who obviously are returning. You can see their names on the website. They have their pictures there. And there's actually one additional player who is being brought back on scholarship who suffered an injury from last season. So technically, there are 4 players receiving a scholarship that played last season. Okay. 6 players before the announcement of a new coach and after the announcement of Coach McCullum not being renewed and entered the transfer portal. They entered the transfer portal between March 22nd and maybe within that whole week. 6 players. Marcus is very aware of this. I know Marcus retweets and talks about a lot of this as well. Okay. 2 other players entered the portal after the new coach was announced, after Coach Crary was announced. Okay. So right now we have a total of, what's that total? That's 8 players who have said they're going into the transfer portal. Some of those players have new schools that they're already at. Some of them don't. One particular player, a key contributor on the team, has no more eligibility and is actually graduating. Another player of the 19 actually left the team during the season. Somehow he still counted as part of the 19 or 16, right? And then by my count, there's still one player who is not in the portal, but is not expected to return. Okay. Then there are 4 players who actually played less than 5 games, presumably all walk-ons, okay, that were not given or told that they would be a part of the summer workouts, but were told that they would have an opportunity to try out in the fall, along with other walk-ons and students who want to try out. So again, there's your summary of 16 players, quote unquote, dismissed. Much of this was, when brought up in the Board of Trustees meetings, was disputed by AD Sykes. But I don't think that mattered to the trustees, in my opinion. So let's get into it, Kelvin. I'm gonna skip our normal first hour break because I want to stay hot on this while we're in it. because I know, like I said, we want to get to this before our guests come on in the hour 2. So I come to you, Kelvin, and give you the first shot to share your thoughts on what took place from your viewpoint.
So let me say, first of all, Coach Crary, welcome to FAMU. Glad to have you. I want you to put together the best team possible. And hopefully this situation will get resolved. Now, with that disclaimer out the way, the first comment I have is dealing with difficult people, difficult parents. Bryan, you've coached, I've coached at the high school level. I've been an administrator. Dealing with difficult people and difficult circumstances come with the job. And skillful people learn and find a way to get buy-in, to make people feel like they're part of a partnership, right? Even when they don't get the answer that they wanted. I dealt with it as an administrator. You don't think on game day football, all those folks who say they know the president and they know this person and they feel entitled that they didn't try to use that influence and threaten your job and everything else? It happens. But the skillful people learn how to be professional, to communicate, to have empathy, and to work to get a win-win situation. You never wanted it to be when it's particularly, let me say this. There's a lot of walk-ons on that team, right? There was what, 6?
Yeah, at least.
And I'm gonna say this, and it's something that they probably didn't share with you. That ain't the only walk-on that have influential people. And did you treat all the walk-ons the same? If you didn't, words get out. So, but in terms of dealing with the difficult situation, right? We're talking about a kid who's by all accounts a good kid, academic kid. He's on academic scholarship. He's not even athletic scholarship, so it ain't costing you nothing. I don't know how much you can do with it if a parent is just involved and loves, and you can't tell pops, you can't control what pops do. You control what you can do, and it probably helps if people know you and it don't seem like you're avoiding people, right? So I don't know what the interaction and comments were between that particular situation, but I will say this. It's important to note that's a pillar of the community, someone who hasn't previously had any issues. I'm talking about Reverend McAllister, not known for meddling in terms of FAMU stuff. Nah, but people when their kids involved, they may be a little different. And they may be a little aggressive. Some people have blind spots. So I mean, and that's understandable. You got to handle that, but you still got to handle that. A certain way, right? I don't care what you say. No job you gonna go to. There's always a person that you got to deal with, whether you want to deal with it or not. So that's not nothing new. The other thing I say this, and I saw a couple of people hearing about this in the board. This is less about coach, and it's more about the AD.
Agree, 100%.
I'm not gonna run from that, right? At the end of the day, there's a history of decisions starting back from the OBC all the way to peak management sports, all the way to Coach Simmons leaving, all the way to the bowling coach having an issue with players and parents, all the way to the hiring of the new coach, all the way to donate gate, all the way to a confrontation at the convention, all the way to the play-by-play announcer, the voice of Bragg, Sterling, not doing the spring game and not being announcer for the fall. It's always some crap happening. Nothing is routine. And so I understand why people question, maybe not the coach per se and exactly, but question, are all I's dotted and T's crossed? Because it's just been one thing after another. And frankly, it's going to continue to be one thing after another until it's dealt with. Bottom line. And I'm going to leave it there for now and let everybody else get in.
What do you got, Marcus?
Well, I mean, well, first and foremost, I mean, like Kelvin just alluded to, I mean, this is like another peg of a series of things that have happened. I don't know. I mean, with this particular administration over the last 2 years, but going back 20 years, it's always something. This, I think, could have been very much avoided. And I don't know to what degree, and this is my own speculation, I don't know to what degree this has more to do with the administration in Lee Hall and Gaither than it does with the coach. But it seems that, and I don't know to what degree the issues brought up by the BOT, have merit, or whether it's a vehicle to do something else. There could be something there. But I'm just curious as to it's to me, my own speculation was that, I mean, it seemed like they had that loaded in the chamber already. I mean, I don't know if the BOT gets involved in NCAA bylaws and all that stuff and Title IX. I don't know. I guess my assumption, and reading even the FAMU BOT webpage, your purview is policy making at the university level. And I know the Gregory Jerami or Jerami Gate, whatever you want to call it, probably heighten their awareness and maybe turn up the screws and asking a little bit more detailed questions, because once again, now you put the BOT in a position where they're signing off on something and they're going to want extra details. Just like, someone gets in trouble or lies to you, you're going to have that extra level of detail to make sure that you're not getting fooled twice. But it does seem like it's more about VP A.D. Sykes and President Robinson than it is Coach Crary. I don't know to what degree, and I don't know what the mechanisms are for coaches in that position where, at the university level, where the hiring line is still being paid out and the coach has already been announced but it hasn't been completed. I don't know what vehicles are normally used at the university level, at any university. But it does sound like that bridge payment, if you will, from the boosters would be that thing, because it's not coming directly from a university, but a DSO. And so it's not necessarily, but I don't know. But that seems like a simple fix as well. So we'll just have to see how things play out. But it seems like, once again, we have, between football and basketball, promising starts or finishing off a championship season, and there's some type of drama that is curtailing the momentum going forward. And it needs to be addressed, whatever that needs to be done, whether we just need to get our stuff in order, and stop having all this dramatics, have everything lined up, whoever it is, wherever it lies, or if we just have these ulterior motives that we're unaware of that are just going on because of personalities or the feeling that someone doesn't belong in a certain position, whatever it is. But
Hey, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
When you see a bad marriage, but before they finally call it quits, this is what it looked like. This is a bad marriage. I don't care what people how you try to justify it, man. This ain't gonna work. It's not working. If the president, Dr. Robinson, and the AD, if they were better at their jobs, then they could process this and this thing would have got signed off on. And what I mean by that, if they had developed a better relationship with the board, if they communicate things and more transparent with what's going on, understanding that right now the board has a heightened sense of awareness and are a little more agitated. So
they've lost the benefit of the doubt.
Right. So it requires them to do a little bit more. This should have been routine. Absolutely. But I'm not looking at the board. Other than they in a bad marriage and nobody wants to walk away. Nobody want to make it official. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to get some points in here because, like I said, I want to make sure we get out of this at the top of the hour, so that we transition from basketball to football. My personal feelings and seeing all of this is 100% political in my opinion. I believe, because some of the things that were quoted and shout out to Gerald Thomas, GT3 of the Democrat. And even I know Allison Posey was tweeting, but live tweeting and even doing the story. There's some things that some of the board members, trustees are asking that just are head scratching to me. Absolutely head scratching in this process. Again, the coach has been in the role since the 17th of April. He was at the National Alumni Convention. No one met the man. He was not. He was in no spaces being introduced to trustee members. Nobody, because if you listen to some of the quotes, the trustees were like, I don't know who he is. I didn't know where he came from. How did he get here? None of that was, that's amazing. That's amazing if that happened. Okay. To me, right? Trustee Gibbons, as quoted by GT3, suggests to push back the contract approval or not hire him. Says there's not enough information regarding Crairy's salary being tripled, and details of the voluntary agreement. Okay, wait a minute. Being tripled? Being tripled. The Gibbons says, quote, this is from the Tallahassee Democrat article, quote, we don't know now listen to this. We don't know the process, the individuals, and can't get a clear answer on if this person's salary has been tripled. I've never seen where a head coach in a volunteer status comes in without a contract. This brings red flags to my mind. We should push this back or not hire this person. This is the chair of the DSO and Athletics Committee. AD Sykes informed Trustee Gibbons that Coach Crairy's previous contract, where he was the head coach and an assistant athletic director, was about $95,000. Okay.
Not that should even matter. That part.
Not that it should matter. Exactly.
But the rest of it.
But he doesn't know the process. He doesn't know the process. Really? You don't know the process. You don't, Okay, I'm not gonna go there. The contract, which he's being offered, $150,000, is the same dollar value that Coach McCollum received in 2017 and when he was extended in 2021. The same $150,000 base. Now, there may have been escalators and extra bonuses that were different, but the contract is the exact same. You can go look it up. $150,000 a year. That's what he's getting. Same damn contract. Nothing new. There's nothing new. But I don't know. Trustee Gibbons, the chair of the athletics committee, didn't know the process, didn't know all this was happening. Okay. Another interesting, Trustee Lawson. Now, it was Trustee Lawson motion to saying that discussion should be tabled. He said due process wasn't allowed. He wants to know the outcome of 16 players. I just told you what about the 16. Where do you think Trustee Lawson got information about 16 players from? Okay. But again, bad information given leads to a statement by Trustee Lawson. Okay. And then he brings up a potential Title IX NCAA violation. I don't understand that. But again, you know, our athletic director had a history in compliance. I read that to say, if you're asking this question, you're questioning her knowledge and her ability to do her job. Isn't that what, is that, anybody read anything different into that?
Absolutely.
That's what I read. Lawson says, quote from the Democrat article, at this point, given where we are and the concerns, look at this part. We all have about the process. You all have issues with the process and the need for more information. So everybody on that committee, Trustee Gibbons, Trustee Perry, Crossman, Figures, May, Stone, Washington, and White, you all have issues with the process? Is this process
Bryan?
Yes.
Bryan, did we not hear the same thing from the board as well as the committee that was over the football process?
Ding.
It ain't the only point I'm making. I'm not choosing sides, but this is not the first time that this has been stated. Same thing with that donate gate contract. And so I mean, to me, those are self-inflicted wounds. You can't let people go into meetings and have the ability to state that and to state that and to be true. After the history of just this year. All right.
So again, there's your summary of the 16 players, where technically it's 15. Again, eight of them were in the portal. 6 of them in the portal before the new coach was even named. Okay. That's just there. Okay. I'm just going to stay away from the whole Reverend McAllister letter, because again, as a understanding, having been a coach, or as a coach who has dealt with parents, I get it. I understand he sees things rolling as a parent. Okay. And again, if you're a new coach, I mean, we're talking about the walk-on process is what it is. That players will have an opportunity in the fall to try out. There are 3 players. What's not even mentioned in that group is that 3 players are still going to be on scholarship. So that, and this is again going back to this group. Okay, of the 15 players. No, let me rephrase that. 14, because one of those 15 left the team. Of those 14 players, 3 of them are supposed to be graduating in the summer, so they're still on scholarship this summer during summer session, so that they can graduate.
Hey, let me add one other thing.
Hold on, let me do the numbers here. So I'm gonna show you the numbers here, right? Because there's only 10. We can only have 13 scholarship players, right? We have 10. Those are the 3 that are right now holding a scholarship spot that they're not going to be coming back in the fall, but they're still on scholarship so that they can graduate. There's your 13 players. 7 new, 3 active returners, 3 on scholarship to graduate. Go ahead, Kelvin.
The only thing I want to add it was for me, 13, 15, whatever, a lot of them gone for whatever reasons. If the coach chose to, he could have reached back out to those guys who were in the portal who hadn't committed nowhere and bring them back. I'm sure just like all coaches do when they come on board, he talked to the staff that was there and asked their opinion and probably got some advice. As a matter of fact, I know he got some advice on maybe not who to keep, but who not to keep. All right. And they have their biases and the reasons for stating that. All that happens. So that part of it is just like the tripling of the salary, even though let's make a distinction. He had a salary. Part of his salary was for coaching. Part of it was for being an AD at where he was. So that's where that total number come from. Technically, not that it matters. It's tripled if you just count his coaching salary. But it's neither here nor there. But what I want to say this about the kids, because we got an athlete getting ready to come on. And in the comments about we were 6 and 23. That's where, Bryan, I reached out to you, and I've seen 1 or 2 people say it here about 6 and 23. So, what are we losing? And I want us to be careful about that part of it, right? Because coaching matters. The coaches decide who to play, the minutes they're going to play, come up with a game plan, try to, I saw a kid on last year's team that just turned the ball over and shot us out of games, and he would never come off the court. Or he'd come off the court 2 minutes. Then I saw other guys, they get 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, they got 12 points on like 5 touches. And and you look at 4 of the kids we talking about who are left, they're going to other Division I programs. 1 within our own conference and 3 at mid-majors or higher. So talent ain't the reason why we were 6 and 23. I've been a season ticket holder in basketball for 20 plus years. I've seen a lot of bad basketball. to be frank, to be honest. But I didn't mind watching last year's team other than being frustrated at the ending because we never closed games and some of the decisions. But my point is this: the kids, they do everything as long as they going to school, class, they working hard, they executing what the coach is putting them in the positions. Let's not badmouth the kids when they leave or just act like every player on that team didn't have talent, because those kids been picked up by other programs. And another thing, we didn't put into our program some of the recipe for the kids to develop, right? They don't have 24/7 access to the gym. They don't have a nutrition table per se. They don't have some of the things that other programs have, which also can play into development. So while the coach has a right to bring in whoever he wants, the kids who were here, they wanted to be here. They wore that orange and green proudly. They did what they're supposed to do. So let's not disparage them for last season record.
All right. With that said, we'll put a pin in the conversation regarding this. I don't know. We'll touch on it at a later time. We just know that right now practices are happening. Summer practices are happening. We'll wait to see if Dr. Robinson exercises his right, which that's a whole nother thing. But whether he exercises his right to actually use a contract for a 1-year deal. But anyway, we'll wait to see what happens here in a moment. Okay, let's take a break, because coming up on the other side, we move into the football fields, less than 60 days away from the start of the 2024 season. And we've got Kelvin Dean coming up on the other side. And then later in bottom of hour 2, we got Coach Milton Patterson joining us as well. So you guys hang in there with us. We appreciate the conversation happening in the chat room. You guys keep it classy in there. Appreciate you, Dr. Lori, Dr. Strachan, for moderating in there. And when we come back on the other side, we're going to talk to Kelvin. Any questions that you have for Kelvin, drop them in the chat. You can also send us an email, ongstrikezone@gmail.com, and we will ask him and talk to him about them on the other side. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus here. Want to thank everybody for coming in, watching the show. Want to give a shout out. Appreciate you, Theron, Band Talk coming in, matching that donation from Tamara T. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and the like button. However you're watching the show. If you're watching the show on Facebook, hit the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. Hopefully everybody in the chat room is behaving to some degree. With I know. Just be kind. Don't get blocked and don't block anybody. We just everyone be kumbaya. It's all good. We'll be okay. Everybody, less than 60 days from the start of football season, and coming up is our next guest right here. That man right there, the 2023 Celebration Bowl offensive MVP, Coming in to check in is that man right here. His name is Kelvin Dean Jr. Kelvin, how you doing, my man? Good to have you on the show.
Appreciate y'all having me, man. How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, man, we're
Doing
doing
good.
well.
We're doing
Glad
well.
to have, glad to have another Kelvin on the show.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, you don't see too many of us, man. So hey, I'm glad to
That's
see you.
right. Yeah.
Well, hey, we are less than 60 days from the start of the 2024 football season. A lot of excitement in the air. And we got a lot of different directions we could go with you, but let's just kind of talk about, let's start by just kind of talking, how are you doing? How was the spring for you? How has the start of summer workouts been for you and the team?
Personally, this was one of my most productive springs as far as just getting better at my position and my craft, really breaking it down on film. So I feel like personally I came a long way. And then a lot of my teammates that, we lost a lot of guys. So some of the players before the recruits came in, got a chance this spring to show what they can do, to build depth. So it was good for a lot of the younger guys that didn't get much playing time last year. So this spring they got to kind of, get a little bit of experience, scrimmages, the spring game in front of fans. So it was pretty good for everybody. I think we went forward anyways, not backwards this spring.
That's good to hear. Go ahead, Kelvin.
I want you to kind of talk about the process from we won the championship, you're the MVP, we had success, and then you lose Coach Simmons, and now it's time to advocate for what turned out to be Coach Cozy and so forth. Why was that important to the team, that transition, to maintain as much consistency and continuity?
Because think about this. I'm gonna put it in these terms. Say you come time to move houses. You don't really want to move. Okay, so you can move to a new complex, and they tell you, listen, we can get you this building or this place in the same complex. We would rather move in the same complex than take our stuff to another place. So we decided to want to keep everything in house. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's comfortable with how stuff works out with Coach Cozy, Coach Simmons. It's kind of the same cycle of things. So it's not like a routine that we had to break. Like you like to keep. Like I heard you earlier. I was listening. You said there's no routine. I know you like to have a routine of things. So we kept the same routine going.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Thank you, Kelvin, for coming on and joining us on the show. I got a few questions, but I want to start off with this. In terms of this off season, and as Kelvin kind of alluded to, going from championship, how has everything that's going on this off season forged or maybe even reinforced the leadership gene that you have within you in terms of winning the championship, scoring 2 touchdowns to give us a lead, and once again in your first year at FAMU, and then going through the coaching change and everything swirling around that, and then to where you are now?
I came in, I came in with another big time running back. Also, they had a good running back that was already here in Terrell. So it was difficult for me at first, but I had to learn how to get out of my own head and balance the three of us and realize, like, listen, we can all make this happen. So, like in the championship game, I fumbled the first carry, and I could have got down on myself, but my teammates told me to stay up. And in the fourth quarter, Coach Simmons was like, listen, we're going to come back to you. And, I just kind of earned my coach's trust throughout the season, and that helped me out a lot. And as far as, losing the players and coming into, I'm actually kind of surprised, because they're recruiting really well. And I'm talking to the players that's coming in, and they're like, listen, we ain't coming here for NIL, for Tallahassee. Like, listen, y'all winners. We want to be a part of a winning tradition. And like, they just got here 2 weeks ago, and they getting along with us real well, seeing how hard we work. So I like how they coming to work. All the guys they brought in, they brought in guys with good character.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Let's go. Let's for people who may not know, obviously this is your first time getting a chance to talk to you here on the show. You came from Florida Atlantic, FAU. Talk a little bit about the transition? What was it that you were looking for when you decided to make that move? And what was it about coming to FAMU that made moving north to Tallahassee so attractive?
At FAU, I felt like I wasn't getting treated how I deserved, as far as I got recruited by a different coach and a whole new staff came in as a freshman for me. Like, so I was like, I'm going to give myself a shot, find some coaches that believe in me and are recruiting me. I wanted to fill him back. And FAMU came, Coach Rispers, he was real big in the process. Also, it's an hour from home, and it wouldn't be hard for my parents to travel back and forth to the games. It was kind of hard, them traveling 7 hours to see me play. So also, I felt like I could make an impact on the team. I liked the way the things were trending for the team. So all that played a part in my process of coming here, and just the coaches believing in me and giving me the opportunity to show what I could do.
Okay, that's nice. And so when you obviously having now moved into this past year, are there certain guys that you've been able to help in their process? Because as you just mentioned, I mean, we've got probably close to 30 some, transfers. One of the largest number of former FBS players on the team. What have you been able to be sort of a guide or maybe an inspiration, for a lack of a better word, for some new guys?
Yeah, like even things like bringing them out to eat with us at Buffalo Wild Wings, or to go to Waffle House to get 10 or 12 guys to come, hang out and eat together. Not even just the football part, but just like the brotherhood part, trying to get them to understand that much about it. Like this is a team that, we gonna battle together. Like, we all love each other at the end of the day. So and even on the football field, just the way I work, I don't really say too much. I'm not one to yell at you, and you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to work, and I would like you to follow my lead or my example of how hard I work.
All right. Go ahead, Kelvin.
So we had a very experienced team last year, a very deep team. We still got a lot of core pieces like yourself who are returning, but we're also adding a lot of pieces. What are some of the keys you see for us to run it back? Because that's the theme here, to run it back. So what are some things you're looking for, and what you think needs to happen for that to happen?
Honestly, I like the way the coaches recruited. They brought in a lot of stuff that we lost that we needed, and kind of filled in the gaps right away. So I feel like it all starts up front. Like, we brought a lot of linemen back and also recruited another heap of linemen, and we got a whole bunch of new D linemen that came in. So I think the trench work is really what's going to be a difference. Like, how long can our big boys go, or how much movement can we get off the line, or how can we dominate the trenches? I think skill wise, we're gonna be real good skill wise. Like, every skill position we got is super loaded. So I know I just want to see us dominating the trenches.
Go ahead, Marcus.
All right, Kelvin. Tell us about the running back room. What is your outlook? Because I know last year we had a mix of speed, power, and steadiness. So what's your projection of the running back room this year, based on some of the returning personnel and the new personnel that's coming in?
I think it's just as explosive. We got young guys like Rashad Quinn and Bo Somerset. Rashad Quinn can be a power guy for us, hash to hash guy inside the tackles. Bo Somerset, he can also do some of the stuff I can do, kind of skill set wise. Get in the slot, run the wheel routes that I run. So that'd be good for him to learn under me for the future. And then the new running back we just brought in, we got two actually. They look real good. The guy from Miami, he's gonna be more of our power guy, I believe, like short yardage. And I think he'll fill in right where he needs to. So I think the room will be just as explosive as last year, especially if we amp it up on the carries with the big old line we bringing in.
All right. Well, thank you.
Are we still using is it still the tote gang?
Nah, man. We call ourselves Zone 6 because we trying to get in the end zone for 6 every time.
Zone 6. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Zone 6. All right. Good to know. Zone 6. All right. Let me go to a few questions that some people have sent in to us. Melissa Wilson sends in a question. Which SWAC team are you most excited to play against this year? What SWAC team are you most excited to play this upcoming year?
In no way am I dissing the other SWAC schools or any opponent, but I'm excited to go to Mississippi and see how it is at Jackson State, or maybe Alabama State. I think it's their homecoming. Those will be two pretty huge away games. Should be packed crowd. So I'm really excited to see how we hold up under some pressure.
Yeah. I think Rattler Nation will be excited as well. So that's a good 1-2 combo. Great road games. I know we're looking forward to going to them, and I know a lot of Rattlers are as well. Okay. Let's see. EA puts one in the chat room. Says, besides your pass catching skills, how do you feel you have improved your pass blocking?
I feel good about it simply because I feel like I got stronger this offseason. I gained a couple of needed pounds. So now I'm ready to step in and take whatever linebacker's coming. That just all comes with the process and learning from my coach to think and taking coaching and things that he teaches me to do. I just got to put them on the field or put them on tape. So I feel good. It's all a process, but I'm working. I'm definitely working on my strength and my pass blocking every day.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. Let me see. I got a question here from Tony. Tony asked if you are related to Amp Lee that attended FSU from Chipley, Florida.
Actually, I am. That's so my mom's aunt, her son he's Trent Forrest. He's in the NBA. He plays for the Hawks right now. My mom's aunt, Amp, is her brother, so he's my mom's uncle, which would make him some type of uncle for me, and however you call it, you know what I'm saying? But we related somewhere down the line.
Somehow he's family, right? That's it.
I was talking to Florida State a while back when I was in high school, and they would say you run just like him, and all I'm trying to do is catch his legacy and become one of the greatest from my city, just like him.
That's what's up. Amp, I think we were. I don't want to date myself here. I think Amp was. I remember the name. Was he early 90s when he was at State?
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I remember the name. He played with Charlie Ward, or was that before?
I want to say a little before.
Okay. I mean,
he might have had one season with him, but I think it was before.
Okay, I remember. Okay. Let me see. Now another question, because obviously, let me see. I know we had some people asking, and sadly, unfortunately, we know you dealt with a situation. You tweeted it out regarding an incident regarding your car. The championship ring was stolen. There was a great article I saw. Gerald Thomas kind of did an update. Can you update us with you don't have to give us details, but maybe just where things are with what you're going through in the process of trying to get your ring back?
I'm still searching, just talking with people, checking all the marketplaces and eBay and all that. Hopefully it comes up. If not, I talked to 80 Sykes. She's doing everything she can to help me get a replacement. So shout out to her for that. Also, if any people that know any car dealerships on here want to help me maybe get something worked out with a car dealership so I can have an alarm when my car door open, you know what I'm saying? I'm driving something a little old, but it is what it is. I'm thankful to be here. As long as, they ain't taking me away or hurting me, I can get the ring back. I know it's a crazy situation, but, I'm good. We're gonna make it work. I can't really take these problems on the field, so.
Yeah. Well, I definitely. That's unfortunate, and like I said, it's got to take those valuables out of the car, and don't leave those. Unfortunately, even in safe places, stuff like that sadly is happening. So hopefully, you do. It turns up. I got a feeling it'll turn up though. It's a too hot item right now, and so I think the word is getting out. So hopefully it'll come. But shout out to 80 Sykes for even, getting into the process and trying to help you get a replacement. Let's see.
Hold on, and
Yeah.
just like Kenya say, I put it out there right now. If I need to sponsor, I sponsor it, but we're gonna make sure Champion is represented.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's I think that's a common sentiment, Kelvin. So you got people who I think will help you out if you need. So thank you, Kenya, for putting that out there. Before we get into some off the field stuff, Kelvin, Marcus, any more on the field football related questions? Because we want to talk about some of the stuff Kelvin's got going on off the field as well.
No, let's go ahead and get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for those of you who may not know, and maybe you do know, Kelvin is I don't know if the right word is saying you're a fashion designer, fashion entrepreneur. You're into the fashion, but Culturalist Clothing is the fashion line that you have. Tell us a little bit about how you got started into wanting to do clothes and get in. Is this something that you're looking to kind of parlay into after football and after the playing career?
I started this probably 5 years ago in 2019, and I just been kind of working to get it where I need to get it every year, trying to catch up with the trends to make sure that my stuff is fashionable for people. And so I'm starting to like increase in things I make. Like you see, these are a bunch of shirts, long sleeve shirts, beanies. I'm getting into more like denim stuff, jeans and shorts like that. So I'm just trying to keep up with the trends. But this is definitely something that I want to do like throughout my football career. I want to get this brand big enough to be some type of fashion brand, some type of high dollar brand. It's all a process. So it's not easy, but as a business owner, you just got to know that this type of stuff takes time. So
what are some of your, or who maybe is a better way, who or what are some of your influences or your fashion influences?
I follow a lot of NFL players on Instagram, and just the fashion and stuff that they wear. I'm like, wow, that looks good. Maybe I can make something like that for myself, or that others would like to wear. And it's a couple of my friends that dress really nice. And in this middle picture right here, you can see my cousin. That's the one that plays for the Hawks, Trent Forrest. So he's also a big inspiration when it comes to like fashion. I'm kind of just started picking up on the way that he dressed, and I figured like, okay, maybe other folks will want to dress like this too, since he's an NBA player.
Hey, it's good. It's good to know people. So I mean, and there you can see folks right there. You can follow on Instagram at Cultureless Clothing, excuse me, on Instagram. And I know when you go to you can even to sign in and get the newsletter as well. Correct.
Correct. I got some stuff that'll be dropping around July 4th. It's kind of themed for that, color wise. So stay tuned for that. It'll be coming out real soon.
Now I know, obviously with NIL, we, a lot of student athletes like yourself, even some of your teammates are involved in doing certain fashion things. Has the NIL space been, how has it been beneficial to you in terms of getting a business off the ground? And maybe tell people what kind of lessons are you kind of learning through the process of being an entrepreneur?
It holds me accountable. It's certain stuff that I absolutely have to do to make the NIL and things like that work. Helps me keep a strict schedule, especially when there's certain things I got to do, and also when I got football practice and stuff like that. So as far as NIL, like, it can help you get ahead. Like as far as it's basically an investment into my business. Like if I make any funds from it, I can put them into another order of clothes, and that can help me out as far as getting my sales out and getting more money back into my pockets. Also, I got a deal with Krispy Kreme that's going to be starting August 1st. in Tallahassee. All the Krispy Kremes in Tallahassee, you can go get the Dean Dozen. It'll be discounted. It'll also help me out. I'm gonna try to promote this. I'm gonna try to have my parents get some dozens that come out there pregame out there on the front street, the back street, and have some of them for y'all. This would be a good thing. Everybody can help me out and go support August 1st. You can get you a Dean Dozen from Krispy Kreme.
There it is. Krispy Kreme, boy, they own it, ain't they? Krispy Kreme is
yeah.
on it.
Yeah, we had the gel and glaze hats and the gel and glaze dozen. So you got
the Dean Dozen
hat. You got to get you a hat. Yeah, get your Dean Dozen hat so we can buy. We want to wear the hat too.
I got y'all, man. I'm gonna make sure that's bought for.
Man, that is awesome. So that starts August 1. So Tallahassee, and it'll probably be all the Tallahassee locations.
Yes,
yeah. Okay, good stuff, man. Congratulations on that. Shout out to Krispy Kreme. Boy, I got my mouth watering thinking about it. Boy, I ain't had a Krispy Kreme donut in like forever.
Well, don't get one till August 1st, so you'll be wanting one real bad.
you ain't got to tell me. You ain't got to tell me. I try to stay away from them, but yeah, no. When I come to Tallahassee, it's on. I definitely will make sure to get that Dean Dozen when I get to Tallahassee for sure. What other any other opportunities or any other NIL ventures that you're a part of or working on right now?
Hot Works is a gym in Tallahassee. They gave me a good membership and stuff. I can go in there and train. It's good for. I like to travel a lot, so if I take a cruise or a trip with my girlfriend out of town, we can come back and sit in the sauna. Just sweat out the weekend or whatever we did during the trip. So it helps out. I can come in and exercise in the sauna, bike a few miles or whatever, get myself conditioned and good for practice. They got a lot of good stuff that helps me out.
Nice. Good stuff. Just looking to see if there's any other thing. Any other final questions, Kelvin or Marcus, that you got?
Now, I just want you to talk about Terrell Jennings and how that inspires you that now that he waited his turn, he shared carries pretty much his entire career. He gets his opportunity with an NFL squad, and he's made the most of it. What does that tell you, and how does that inspire you?
I'm gonna be so honest. Like, he's one of the main reasons I was able to stay so balanced through the up and downs last season, even when everything wasn't going perfect, just because of his attitude towards how. They brought in 2 other running backs. He could have got down or wanted to leave, but he stayed through the process and fought through it. And so I knew that when he got picked up by the NFL, it was going to be a no-brainer that he would get the opportunity just because of how hard he worked when he was out there with us. So just seeing how he did that, it's a huge motivation. Like, you can make it from FAMU. The running back pipeline is starting. So, hey, I'm trying to hopefully come along and be the next one, and we can keep this thing rolling. Hey, draft and start getting us drafted out here. We just got to up the stock and show them what we can really do.
Well said. Marcus, anything?
Nope. Just looking forward to the rest of the season coming up.
Well, just in case any of you guys didn't know, Kelvin will be one of the 2 representatives along with Coach Colsey at the SWAC Media Day, July 16th in Birmingham, Alabama. You looking forward to that?
Man, I'm excited, man. Hey, this is one of the main reasons I came here to earn opportunities like this. So I'm just blessed to get this chance, man. Shout out to Coach Colsey and all the guys for trusting me as a leader of the team.
Yeah, well, it should be good. I know Kelvin and myself, we will be there, so we'll get a chance to see you in person and chop it up with you.
Yeah, we gotta take some pictures, man. I definitely gotta take a picture with the other Kelvin. You already know.
See, look, there it is. It's done.
Yeah,
it's done. It's done.
Ain't that what the young people say? Say less.
And Kendall Bowler will be there as well. So we got 2 great representatives. I know you guys do a great job of talking about the program, talking about the team, talking about FAMU. So I know you guys are going to be a hit when you get there amongst the thrones of SWAC media. It'll be a fun time. I know you will enjoy it. As I've seen all the other guys over the last few years. So looking forward to you being there. Congratulations to being selected to go. So I know that'll be a good time. All right, Kelvin, let people know let them know where they can find you at on Instagram, on X, and make sure to plug the clothing and the clothing line again.
Y'all can follow me on Instagram at JustVibeWoo. It should pop up, Kelvin. You can type in Kelvin Dean Jr. I'll follow you back. Send me a DM. Whatever. I'm cool, man. So just hit me up. You want to get some of my clothes? Whatever. I'm down to collab with anybody in Tallahassee. Let's just help each other out. Follow me on Twitter at the Kelvin Dean. Anybody that want to do more interviews, hearing your insight and stuff. And thank y'all. Don't forget to follow the clothing page, Culturalist Clothing, on Instagram.
Hey, we need to talk and figure out how to we need to figure out how to do an O&G version, or we need to do something. We need to do an O&G inspired version with Kelvin. How about that?
I get you guys shirts made just from my brand. I promise. All I need is y'all sizes. I'll take care of y'all.
Hey, it's done. It's done. It's done. I mean,
Bryan, Bryan, we got to make that happen.
We will definitely do that. We definitely would love that. So, all right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Kelvin Dean, make sure to let me put it up here one more time in case you didn't catch it. Cultureless Clothing. Make sure to check it out on Instagram at Cultureless Clothing. And again, go support Kelvin Dean. Don't forget the Dean Dozen beginning August 1 at all Krispy Kreme locations in Tallahassee. Can't wait for that to start. And then, of course, less than 60 days away from the start of the season. All right. Kelvin, appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Great job. Always a pleasure. I mean, first time talking to you, and we hope to talk to you many more times, man. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Appreciate y'all having me, man. See y'all August 24th.
All right.
Yes, sir. In the 8th, when we start to run it back. All right, good stuff. Well, hey, let's come back after this break. Let's talk to our defensive coordinator, Coach Milton Patterson, right here on the other side of this break. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus, and joining us right now is the defensive coordinator of the Dark Cloud defense. He is SWAC. That's right. It's Coach Milton Patterson. Coach Patterson, how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to be on the show. I've been watching you guys for a while, man, and I just want to tell you guys do an amazing job, not just only advocating for football, but all the FAMU athletics on and off the field. So I'm extremely excited to be here today and looking forward to talk to you all.
Thank you, sir. We
Coach.
appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on. Well, I mean, look, Coach, you have in your short time here at FAMU, you've gone from coaching, I believe just the linebackers, if I'm not mistaken, correct, or was it D-line? It was
D-line.
D-line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been a part of coaching All-Americans. You've been a part of coaching one of the top defenses in FCS. The standard is the standard.
Absolutely.
Where do we go with this season? I mean, how excited are you to push to another level with this defensive squad this year?
Extremely excited. I mean, of course, I feel like getting promoted and getting the opportunity to lead this defense it's all came with a preparatory stage. I was a good steward of the defensive line, and I was the head coach of that room. And I didn't take it for granted. I worked every single day for it. And I had some phenomenal coaches and men around me that I was able to learn from. And Coach Simmons took a leap of faith on me. He didn't know me from Adam. And I feel like the best way to pay him back, or my best gratitude to him, was to do a good job. And so I got to learn from Coach Simmons, who's innovative and he can be unconventional, but is very been a strong leader. I got to learn from Coach Smith and his passion and commitment to the game. So all these guys poured into me, and I the best thing I could do was be a student, so I can be able to learn it and absorb it, and then pour it back into the guys.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
So I was looking at last year's stats, Coach, and in the SWAC, we was pretty much #1 in every statistical category.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard thing to follow. And then you add to that that, you lose some guys in the portal, particularly up front, and then you had some great guys like Isaiah Major who graduated. You still have a lot, some good core pieces, right? Mm-hmm. And I see that you all recruited well, but just understanding the standard is the standard. Talk about the challenge of repeating that kind of success, and where do you start from?
You start day by day. I mean, when you talk about repeating that success, I think it has to start with a small focus, seeing the days in front of you. You can't look ahead. We don't necessarily, or I don't necessarily see it as a challenge. I see it as an opportunity to do better, right? And I could kind of fall into the whole reload and repeat. And I told the guys this morning, and the only thing that we want to repeat is the processes every single day that got us to be champions. So if we can work on those small details every single day, if we can be committed with the right attitude. And then one of the largest, when you recruit so many people from different places, is unity, getting everybody on the same page and understanding that there is a way that FAMU operates. There's a way that we brand the ball that we want to put out on the field. And we won't diminish that for anyone or for talent, So you have to be committed to the cause, committed to Florida A&M, committed to this brand of this defense and this program. And understand that it's bigger than you. It will always be bigger than you. It's bigger than me. But given that you have the opportunity, don't take it for granted. Put every single day, invest in yourself, fill up the tank, all the cliches that you can spit out there. But focus on the day. Be great in this moment, and those days add up. And that's what we want to repeat. And we'll reload the opportunities where we weren't the best version of ourselves. And one thing I know about Rattler Nation is they want results. So I'm very conscious of that, and I'm aware of that. And it's a driving force more than it is a speed bump. So I look at it as a way that's a goal. We said it. We went from hunting to being hunted. And
Right.
We have to understand that, and that's going to be the mindset and the attitude that we display, that we can't get complacent. And we're going to work every single day to be the best.
Awesome.
All right. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I'm gonna have to come up with something new because Kelvin took the question I was going to ask. Because I mean, there's a big challenge coming up, especially with all the accolades and the amazing statistical numbers put up last year by the defense, and with so many different players coming in, and you're basically looking at 60 days until our first game. What is the most significant challenge you think you have to overcome in order to get us ready for the MEAC SWAC challenge?
Communication. And we have to be one. And our slogan, we're dark cloud defense, but we're the 212 defense, right? And it's the one extra degree of difference. And if we can all speak one language, we can accomplish all the same goals. And that's going to be the learning curve. That's going to be the challenge I foresee, is making sure that what has been the standard remains the standard. That what we call one thing, what you may have called it at another place, is no longer that. So having the ability to get everybody on the same page will always be a challenge. But again, it's more of an opportunity. How can I find ways to tap into this young man? What do I need to stoop down to or meet him on his level in order to get him up to where we consistently operated at? And then it helps to have guys like James Ash. It helps to have guys even from the locker room, as well as Coach Cozy and Coach Wyndham, guys who have been here and they can see it modeled every single day, because we're the greatest representation of where we most recently were. So getting everybody on the same page is going to be the task, but it's one that has been good in these last 6 OTAs that we've had, and then skill development. So what I say, the D-line coach says. What the D-line coach says, I say it back. So we don't even break that trend. We wanted to be what it is. We all speak one language, and we all committed to the same goal. So that will be the opportunity that we face.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
So, Coach, I believe if I heard Coach Cozy say it, I want to make sure I get my numbers right here. The 425 is returning. But for you, I want you to talk a little bit about kind of how, obviously, when you are in charge of 1/3 of the defense, obviously the D line, but we've also got linebackers and secondary. So when you go from being in charge of 1/3 to now overseeing 3 parts of the defense, how does that? What type of things go into that process for you? What kind of things do you have to? You talked about the communication aspect, but what other things go into that change for you, and maybe what kind of philosophical changes might you make where this defense kind of looks a little bit, or maybe is more towards your personality and style?
That's a great question. I did play linebacker a few pounds ago, so I was able to understand what I wanted the people in front of me to do, which I believe helped me when I was coaching the defensive line, and now at the linebacker position. I just want to be play complementary football and on all levels of it. What the front end does, the defensive line does, we need to be supportive of that at the linebacker core, and as well as in the back end. So making sure that everybody understands that trust is of extreme importance, right? No one man can make the play. If the defensive line is doing his job, then the linebackers are doing their job. The back end is going to be doing their job, and then knowing who you're working with. So when seeing the whole big picture, is making sure that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing at all times. And if there are any problems, it usually starts with communication. And that's just our big word, communication, and then the development part as well. And I would say the thing that'll be different, again, it's hard to say because we've done so well in the past. But again, just to continue to feature the athletes that we have big, strong players that we identified and recruited, and now have the opportunity to develop. So we just want to put them in position to make plays, to utilize their skill sets, and not be slowed down by having to think. So if we get the opportunity to send a little bit more pressure than we normally have in the past. I believe that will be seen on the field. And it's really just going to be the attitude. I'm typically fired up at practice. I only speak when it's needed, but when I do, it's with impact. So the attitude and the toughness that'll be displayed out on the field, as well as team ball. If we can't do anything if we're not team swarming out there on that field. So one ball, 11 hats need to be at it.
Nice. Kelvin, Marcus, if you would allow me, because it kind of, what Coach was just saying, it kind of transitioned to one of the questions I want to go and ask you from out of the chat room. JT asked the question, Coach, maybe, and you kind of maybe started talking about guys. Who are some of the guys and maybe some of the names that may not have been called often last season, but you think we're going to become household names or that we're going to be cheering for? Maybe talk a little bit about some of those guys if you can or would like to.
I'll start at the front. I mean, I think James Ash didn't get a lot of the recognition that he deserved, but I really believe he'll have a strong or breakout year. I think he is a big, strong, dominant force. I think he'll be great. Andre Powell is having a great OTA at the rover position. He's going to do a great job. He's a great communicator, flies around, he's physical. Jamil Sanders, who we just picked up from USF, is shown to have a great OTA this past training camp. I keep calling it training camp, but OTAs. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do. He can fly around. We moved him around some different spots, and his attitude and his toughness that he brings to the second level is going to be special. And we got some backers. Eric Horn is really producing to be a dynamic player for us in the linebacker room, and he's been exciting and consistently learning every single day how he can get better. And I love the way that he's approaching practice. I love the way that he's approaching the meeting room. So the list goes on because we have so many new faces. I'm hoping that you get to hear 11 of them. So that'll be really exciting. We can get everybody's name called out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, you moved to linebackers and you brought in a D-line, Coach. Can I just talk about your staff a little bit?
Okay. Yeah, we brought in Coach Walker. Coach Walker played at the NFL level and played at the highest level in college, and then played at the highest level in football. I think it was important when leaving that room. It was hard to do, but it was important to get somebody with a background and a knowledge base that can provide to these student athletes what it's like at the next level, right? How to communicate to them, and just bring a level of expertise that I personally had not been to myself. And I'm learning from him. We go back and forth on philosophies and thinking, but one thing about it, we're all on the same page about how we want to play in the backfield. Coach Pope, coming over from Alabama State, and I've met him previously, and just a genuinely good guy. He brings a level of calm to the room that he can control and get those guys on the same page. But he brings a wealth of knowledge and playing from coaching at all levels, from the NAIA level, Division II level, as well as the FCS level. He just brings a wealth of knowledge that's going to expand us in the coverage world as well. And make us better. We also have Coach Cozy still going to be coaching the corners, so he wasn't going to give that up. Right, he wasn't going to give that up at all. So our relationship continues to grow stronger, and we're on the same page. And we go back and forth, what works, what doesn't work, but it's all in good spirit, and it's all for the betterment of the guys. So it's exciting to work with these men every single day. And that's what they do on the football field. A large part of the reason that Coach Cozy and myself picked these guys were that they're great family men as well. And I thought that was of extreme importance. You got to see Coach Simmons' children running around the building. You got to see Coach Smith's children running around the building. It just says something when the man coaching your child has to go home and be a father at the end of the day as well. So is a little more compassion, a little more understanding, a little more patience, but still the same outcome of dominating and getting them in the right position. So these guys are exciting to work with every single day. And the beautiful part of OTAs and skill development is that we get to merge and get on the same page in June. So August, we'll be hitting on all cylinders.
All right. Well said. Go
Hey,
ahead.
let me get one follow-up.
Yeah,
Coach,
yeah.
how are you on game day, and what do you think you're gonna be like that first game as the DC?
You know, I'm pretty Sunday through Friday, I'm a hellraiser. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get after it. My guys know I'm gonna be intent, but on game day, I feel like we quizzed and test all through the week. It's your time to display what you've learned, and I want to make sure that the right 11 are out there. So guys who can communicate, guys who are quick thinkers, who can adjust. So I think I'll be the same guy. You'll only see me get charged up when we're not operating efficiently or we're not playing our level of ball or our brand of ball. But outside of that, you got to be calm to be able to communicate and get the right message across. So I'll be calm and collected. We better make those tackles, though.
What do you got, Marcus?
Coach, a couple weeks ago on show, actually I came in late, when Coach Colsey was on. He mentioned that there's still maybe a couple things out there they're looking for. I think he said he needed one more offensive lineman, one more defensive lineman, and I believe a wide receiver. And Kelvin and Bryan, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm watching the show replay. Now, since then, we did get a transfer offensive lineman. I don't know if we've gotten a wide receiver. Are we still on the hunt for a defensive lineman, or have we got everything we need there?
I believe we have everything we need, but I'm also a hoarder of talent. So listen, why not? If we can find one more, we won't turn that down. So the room is great. These guys have been working together. So I like what I'm seeing out on the field. I like how they're communicating and gelling together now. And I think I know Coach Colsey and Coach Wyndham laid the blueprint of the characteristics of guys that we want to bring into the program. So even if we do go get one more, it has to be the right guy, and he has to understand that he may not start on the first snap of the game. He may be a starter on 3rd and 1. And again, I can't stress the importance of being a great teammate. Right, you can't bring the wrong person or the wrong people into this program, because no matter how talented you are, it'll end up sinking the ship. So if the right guys out there are still available, we'll get them.
I would say that's one thing which I marvel at. We have done a great job of bringing the right young men, even from a coaching perspective. It's a testament to you, your other coaches, and the leadership at the top, that the emphasis on the type of people that we bring into the program is what yields the success that we're seeing on the field, and that should not be taken lightly at all, because there's a lot of talented players, a lot of talented coaches, but like you just said, you got to have the right people. It's like having the right ingredients to really make that dish hit. I got to ask you, Coach. You're a 4-year letterman from Jackson State. That October 19th game be the first time I think that FAMU has traveled back to Jackson since, Kelvin, correct me here, I'm going to say 2012. It's at least a decade.
It was that Hail Mary game.
Yes, yeah. It's been a long time since we've traveled to Jackson. What is that game going? What do you think that game will be like for you? It'll be a big time rivalry. A lot will be on the line. What are your thoughts? I know you don't look ahead, so I'm just going to speak in general terms. What do you think it'll be like going back to Jackson State, leading this FAMU defense?
It definitely be a lot of emotions going back into the vet and knowing that what it's going to be. It's going to be 60,000 people in there. It's going to be jam packed. It's going to be rocking. I want to believe that I'll be able to contain it and have the composure to make sure that we come out with the victory, that we come out successful. But I believe once that foot hits that football, I'll snap out all the nostalgic moments, and I'm ready to handle business. I had the opportunity when I was at Mississippi Valley to play Jackson State, and one of the few times that we did beat them when I was at Mississippi Valley, it was great. It was great. So Jackson made, FAMU paid. So we got to get it done.
Hey, I feel a shirt. I feel a shirt coming on right there. I love that. I love that. Hey, does being having that familiarity with the SWAC and the locations and the travel, obviously when you came on staff was right about the time when we transitioned into the SWAC. Did that help you? And obviously Coach Simmons, he had familiarity with the SWAC as well. I think even Coach Henry. So, I mean, for you, did that help you in terms of getting guys prepared and ready for some of those locations that we traveled to over the last couple of years?
Absolutely. And you kind of just put it on their mind in the film room all week. So it's not a culture shock. I mean, you take that drive down 82 to Itabena, you got to let them know about the cotton fields. You got to let them know about the water. You got to let them know. And I think that prepares guys' minds that, every place, even though we tell guys everywhere we go is Brad, it's not going to always be the same atmosphere. So being able to prep the guys, hey, this locker room may be a little small. It's going to be a little hostile when we walking down this strip. Guys have their minds kind of already set or know what to expect. So I think it helps. And it also makes the game fun. One of the beautiful things of the SWAC, having an opportunity of being in it so long, is the pageantry of the parking lot is amazing. And it carries over to the game. So it's been an honor to be in this conference, and I'm excited, especially now in this chair, to see how this season makes out.
One last question from the chats. JT again, kind of ask about said the depth was strong last year. Really excellent. What do you feel like the depth will be just as good? If you can kind of talk a little bit about that depth this off season.
We were very intentional again. Coach Cozy and Coach Wyndham laid out a blueprint. We lost General, and we knew it. He's a graduate, so we were strategic about what kind of guy would fit that. So everybody that went out, we had a plan to bring back something similar to bring them back in. So depth-wise, we're the same. We have the depth at the defensive line position. We have the depth at the linebackers position. We have the depth at the DB. So the challenge or the question now is how deep or how talent deep is it? All right? Are the threes going to be just as potent as the twos? And if that's the case, we're going to be cooking with some hot grease there. So we definitely have the guys here, and then fall camp will let us know exactly how good our depth and our replacements have been in terms of filling this roster again.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time tonight. When we get a little closer to that October 19th date, you're gonna have to give us some spots that we need to roll to when we make that trip to Jackson. You got to give us some heads up on some spots we need to hit. Okay,
listen, I got you. I might sneak off and go grab me a Mug Shots burger or some E&L barbecue. I'm gonna sneak off. I just gotta make sure I wipe the sauce off the corner of my mouth for team meals, so they don't know.
Got you. We got you. I've heard about the mug shots, bro. I think a couple guys have told me about it, so I'm looking forward to getting to Jackson and hitting a couple of the local fine establishments there. So
absolutely, yeah. Get on out the Flowood. I think you'll enjoy it, man.
All right, there we go. Again, Coach Milton Patterson joining us tonight. Coach, thank you again for your time. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing what you and the Dark Cloud defense put together this season.
Absolutely. Thank you. Y'all keep being great. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Again, Coach Patterson, man, that's awesome, man. Good stuff. Yeah. Can I just can't continue to. I can. I just want to continue to let people know, appreciate what is being built. I mean, all you got to do is look around. Look, it's funny when you guys when you hear when all of these coaches, and I mean, we were so blessed to have these coaches come in and talk with us, and you hear certain things from them that lets you know we got some good people, man. We got some good people, man. We got some good student athletes that are, and this is where the success comes from. You know, the talent. There's a lot of talent, but it's up here. It's right here. I mean, that's the stuff that that really creates champions. And so I get a kick out of having these conversations with coaches and student athletes like that.
And I'll just add one other thing, Brian. I love the fact that they embrace the culture, right?
Yeah.
FAMU has a culture.
Oh yeah,
and it's offensive or intimidating to some.
Mm-hmm.
But I love when folks say, Coach Cozy, they throw that jab and you better win, and then Coach Patterson, they have expectations, and it don't phase them because they have confidence in what they're doing and who they are, right? And they have those same expectations. And that's just so encouraging. Then when to talk about families and how that translate, being family men and how it's important to them. And that's the thing. When it's important to your leadership, it's important to your team.
Preach.
So man, it just filled my heart. We have some great coaches in every sport. We have great coaches.
Man, look, if it starts with our leadership at the top, and it finds its way down, and a lot of these applicable things that we see our athletic teams do, it can be replicated in other places. It can be replicated from our administrators, our trustees, all of these people who sort of are the policy shapers, the fundraising revenue generators. We just need them to get their act together, because everybody down underneath the umbrella, they doing their part. We just need better. We just need better.
I know we got to let Marcus go.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, Mark. I don't know, Kelvin, if you had more things you want to get into, or we want to sort of start putting a bow on it. I mean, it's up to you.
No, let's put a bow on it, and we'll get back to it next week in terms of the Olympic sports and so forth.
Yeah.
And the only other comment I'm gonna have, and then before we close the show, is this. I think you said what you said beautifully in terms of above our coaches and getting those folks learn how to be good partners, to be communicators, to look at things bigger than themselves, so that FAMU can be successful and win. But that also requires people to actually be efficient, competent, and being able to communicate effectively with each other and others, regardless of personal feelings, allegiances, and all this other stuff, right? It's about what's right, not who's right. It's about FAMU. It's about family. It's about those student athletes and those coaches and the support staff. So if everybody acts in good faith and do their part of making FAMU successful, excellent, great, then we can not only talk about bragging different than where we are, but we can achieve excellence and go to even a higher level. And that's what, for me, this show is about. Pushing FAMU to be the very best version of itself that it can be. And the only way that can happen is that, people, is that we get better. Everybody, that we get better.
Marcus, any final thoughts for tonight?
You're on mute.
Great show. I mean, we ran the full gamut between stuff that needs to get corrected and stuff that needs to get fixed to, looking forward to football season and hearing from our seasoned vets and from our one of our rising star coaches and just leaving on a good note.
Yeah.
By the way, hey, if you guys haven't downloaded or updated your athletics web or your athletics app, you should. I noticed as I just was pulling it up to just pull up some information on our coaches, on Coach Patterson and Kelvin Dean. A new look, new interface, seems to be functioning a lot better. So definitely has been an upgrade. So if you haven't updated your Florida A&M athletics app, I would recommend that you do. And if you don't have it on your phone, what are you doing? What are you doing? You need to get that app on your phone so that you can always stay in pocket with FAMU Athletics. That's going to do it for tonight's show. Again, what? Oh, yeah. The fan ring thing.
Well, only thing I want to say is about Kelvin Dean. A lot of people reached out to me, even text about a ring. So what I want to say is that we'll find out through the proper channels, where we can donate and help replace that ring if needed. So just stay tuned to the O&G StrikeZone, and as we find information in a proper channel of doing something like that, we'll let you know.
Well said. So that we'll give you guys an update by next week if you don't hear anything between now and then. We promise next week's show, O&G Awards will be announced. I'll start putting some of those votes, putting some of that information out over the course of this weekend. But next week's show, we will officially kind of talk about all the nominees in the various categories that we have. I was just looking at it, and we'll get all that squared away. So that will be a part of next week's show. We'll have maybe some other interviews and things of that nature, getting ready to talk about any updates regarding basketball. I know there's some football related news. The rosters have come out. They've been updated. So that's kind of been the buzz in a few rooms. We'll also, I know there's some updates with the women's basketball. They too have also started practice. So we got all that to kind of marinate on over the course of the next week. But I want to thank everybody. Thank Kelvin Dean. Thank Coach Milton Patterson for coming on tonight. You guys, make sure you are following us however and everywhere that you can at O&G StrikeZone on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, our YouTube page, where I'm going to try to cut up some of the individual segments. So if you maybe didn't catch the whole show and you want to maybe just catch the interview with a certain student athlete or a coach, you can go and get those as separate pieces, kind of a la carte. That's where you can find all that information. If you're a podcast listener, go download the BCSN Pod Zone. The BCSN Pod Zone is where you can find all of the podcasts from the Black College Sports Network and our show. So that's gonna do it for tonight. Again, let me see. Hold on. I got my music. Uh-oh. Yo, the 100 are playing. It's time to get ready to load up the truck and close the door. Thank you to everybody for watching the show tonight. For Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier, I'm Bryan Fulford. Bangs up, strike again, and be good to each other out there. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Lori. Thank you, Dr. Strachan, for being in the chat room. Peace out, everybody.